était au lit. Tout le monde était au lit, puis je commence à préparer.
So would it be possible to borrow just, do you speak English?
Yes.
Because a friend of mine is like checking in and he forgot to take these 2-liter flasks.
Okay.
So could you borrow it for us? Because he has like tons and we are just here to check in. Thank you.
Bring it back then.
Yeah, definitely. Just now.
I'm afraid.
Don't be, it's gonna be
excited.
perfectly fine.
30 secondes au départ. Merci, grazie! Alors, c'est départ.
First check-in of the race now in Switzerland at Swiss Peaks 360, a 367 kilometer race in Switzerland, 27,000 meters of elevation gain, and I have roughly 150 hours time to finish it. Just left Oberwald and now I'm cresting the first summit. Was a rather easy one with 700 meters of elevation gain, so perfect to ease in, but there will be much more difficult climbs along the way, but so far it's beautiful. Weather was supposed to be cold, it was snowing here in the middle of the week, but now there's a heat wave coming and this race is actually deemed a heat race, so there will be temperatures around 30 degrees, but I hope up in the mountains it will be somewhat cooler. Nevertheless, drinking sunscreen, salt will be key. And I'm here with Joanna. She will be my crew, which is really awesome. So she got my car with a mattress where I can take some naps with tons of food. So hopefully this will help me to finish this thing And then of course also seeing a friendly face every now and then will be super nice. So at this point already, thank you, Joanna. See you later.
Bonjour.
Just past the first aid station, 13 kilometers, a little over 2 hours, 1800 meters of elevation gain. Met Joanna, who ran with me for a bit and escorted me out of the aid station. Now we are on the second climb. Again, a smaller climb, just 700 meters of elevation gain. And then there will be one big climb, 1300 meters or so. After that, I'll drop down to Fiesch, which will be the first live base where I have my drop bag, my clothes, food, and so forth. And that's also the place where I'm gonna see Joanna the next time. She's gonna go back to the hotel, relax a little bit, and then meet me later again. Getting pretty warm already, so I'm trying to stay on my hydration game. A lot of work ahead of me. Alright, I just left the second aid station. Was the first real cutoff. I'm in an hour and a half ahead of cutoff, so that's good. But the sun is pretty brutal today. So at this aid station there were a lot of people that seem to have struggled with the sun just as me. Had a few cups of Rivella, the Swiss pop, some sausage, some cheese, and now first big climb, 1300 meters. So let's get this done.
So you think you can tell heaven from hell, blue skies from pain? Can you tell I can feel?
I was just at the, what was that, fourth aid station, I think, or third. Super nice restaurant up in the mountains, really nice food, fondue and cake, potatoes, nice ham, nice salami. And now it's 7 kilometers to the live base. gonna be there a little bit ahead of time, so gonna be there probably before Joanna gets there, but that's okay. Then I'm gonna be probably 4 hours ahead of cutoff, so that is working well as well. Then I'll change my shirt, change socks, re-lube my feet and trunk, and then on we go into the first night.
I wish you were here. We just two lost souls swimming in a fishbowl, year after year, running over this all around. What we found, the same old fears. Oh, I wish you were here.
Maxime, are you ready for the next night?
It's gonna be the first night, but yeah, I guess so. Not really ready, but I guess there's no choice anyways.
Cheers to that.
Just left the live base. Spent way too much time there, like an hour 15 or so. I had some good food, changed clothes, re-lubed. Unfortunately my backpack broke, so I have to use my spare one, but I should be fine, I hope. And now we're going into the first night. 50 kilometers or 55 kilometers to the next live base. And now we have a 1900 meter climb ahead of us. So that will not be fun. Anyways, see you later. Wow. What an incline. 1900 meters of elevation gain on just 10 kilometers, with the last bit 1.6 kilometers and almost 600 meters of elevation gain. The last 1.6 kilometer took me an hour. In total this climb 3 hours and 15 minutes. Damn. 6 o'clock in the morning. Survived the first night. Now in the second big climb of this night. It's another 1600 meter climb. Like 750 left. But after 500 there's supposed to be another aid station, which will be nice to warm up and refuel. But other than that, night was good. Though I'm moving pretty slowly, but that's okay. And now I hope that the sun will give me some energy before, of course, it will get hot again. Alright, on we go. Next aid station. Finally. That was a good piece of work. But we finally made it. Only took us 4 hours or so. Second marathon done. 84.4 kilometers, 6,500 meters of elevation gain. Whew.
Chill out, chill out, chill out. Cause I know my skill that there's a time to build, but now is the time to chill. So man, I chill out, chill out, chill out. Man, I chill out, chill out, chill out. And the beat side are on top of the hill. Oh, I hear me day on the grill. Yeah, I just wanna dance and listen some robado. Chill out and make love to the music I love. Reggae music. I just wanna dance and listen some robado. Chill out and make love to the woman I love. To some reggae music. I just wanna dance and listen some robado. The music I love. Reggae music. I just
Very good. Feeling super gross.
Maxine is shortly leaving live base 2.
Right, back at it again. Just had a 3-hour break at the live base. Tried to get some sleep, but which didn't really work. Ate a lot, drank a lot, showered, brushed my teeth. So I'm somewhat of a decent human being again. But yeah, spent way much time than needed, but it's just so hot outside, around 30 degrees, so that it doesn't make sense to run in the heat. So now it's 4 p.m. Put on the ugliest hat I have in hopes that it will protect me from the sun. And yeah, off we go. I now have 108 kilometers, 7,000 meters of elevation gain, so still a lot of work ahead of me, but for now everything good so far. Peace out. Alright, going into the second night, 122 kilometers down, and now we're gonna go in the real high mountains. So the next two passes, they're close to 3,000 meters. For now I'm gonna go to the next aid station, which is in that village there. That's like 900 meters of elevation gain, and then that's another 900, so then we will close to 3,000. So second night, here we come.
What we need is unification. We got to find some motivation. Set sight to your destination. Be more precise in your estimation. Put your hand up on the price now. Now it's time we organize now. Elevate, we are on the rise now. We are the element of surprise now. We can make it if we try. Only if we try. Hold your head up, hold it tight. Got to hold it tight. Journey on and never stop. We can make it to the top. We can make it to the top. Ain't no turning back. We can make it if we try. Only if we try. Hold your head up, hold it tight. Got to hold it tight. Journey on and never stop. We can make it to the top.
Just climbed the highest peak so far, August Board Pass, 2,900 meters roughly,
And the climb up there was really hard. Not only that the elevation gets the best of me, thin air isn't really my strong suit, but then the entire climb up was just across the field of ragged jagged boulders, very loose, so you had to be super cautious not to stumble, to twist an ankle or something. Super cold up there as well, which is why I'm having gloves on. Now we're going down 1,000 meters on just 5 kilometers, just to go up 1,000 meters again on the other side. So yay! I do hope that I get to sleep at the aid station in between. So down in the valley there's an aid station, and I hope that I can get some sleep there. I had a 20-minute nap the previous aid station, but that was outside, so even though I put on my rain jacket and rain pants and everything, after like 20 minutes I woke up because I was cold. So those 20 minutes in now 38 hours were not enough, so hopefully I'll get to sleep at the next aid station, maybe for a little bit longer too, ideally in a warm place, even though it feels like everyone has that plan right now. There is tons of people just lying next to the trail, which I didn't want to do because it's really cold. So yeah, fingers crossed that the next aid station is a little bigger, with a chance to sleep in a warm environment. So long, peace out. First big climb of the day. Luckily I have company. I met Helke from Germany. She also lives in Munich. We've been yo-yoing back and forth a bit over the past couple of days. And this morning we met again at the aid station where I took a nap and decided to leave together to give each other a little bit company on that climb, since it's again 1,000-meter climb, and I must say it is a lot easier. So if you should ever see this, Helke, thank you so much for joining me and for keeping me company. Alright, life base number 3, 165 kilometers done, so only 200 more left.
Where do you want to sit?
Somewhere where there's space. just left the third life race. As per usual, shower, food, new clothes. Right now it's sort of a routine already, and now we are on our way to Tor de Geants, which is the tallest gravity dam in the world and the second tallest dam in Europe. Right behind me it's another one. Don't ask me what the name is. I might put it down in the description. Luckily the mountains are so steep that we're now in the shade, but otherwise it would be super hot. But in the shade it's actually somewhat bearable. Fucking A. Such a pretty country. Having to run through such a nice scenery. It's awful. I hate my life.
Liam. Oh mein Junge, schön zu werben. Ist bereit.
Okay. Good job.
Good.
Good job.
Where are we going next?
Made it to the second highest point of the race, Tor de Geants. And beautiful vistas. Up here we have Gregory, the true warrior, flying over from the US just after finishing Bigfoot to do this little race over in the Alps.
And make it to this. Wow.
Fucking A.
Right?
Well,
Amazing.
that's why it's worth for coming. So take a picture of you.
So I'll try and get us both.
Nice. 3 a.m. of the third night. Still running with Helke, whom I met earlier this morning, and we basically spent the day together, pushing and pulling ourselves, and now we are making our way up to the second and last peak of this section, and with that we'll be done with 4 out of 7 sections. And the next live base, which now is like maybe 7 kilometers away, will be Tor de Geants. Day 4. Just left the aid station, live base. Tor de Geants, down there. And in the back you see there's a huge gravity dam. And let's all climb up that gravity dam now. Then I'll enter the Grand Desert, as it's called. Yeah, just had an hour of sleep. Like it was enough, but I'm just 3 hours ahead of cutoff. Didn't want to waste any more time, so hopefully that was a mistake. Pretty tired by now. Slept in total like 3.5 hours over the past 71 hours. So let's see. Let's go. Maybe this perspective gives a better idea of the magnitude of this thing. Down there is the, 8-story house where we slept in. And here's that dam. This is just huge. Really nice piece of engineering. Approaching the highest point of the race, Tor de Geants, and I need to cross over there to the right and then take left all the way back up to where that red and white dots are up there. From here I believe it's like 200 meters of elevation gain left. Yeah, and then since it's the highest point of the race, from there it's basically just downhill. So let's get this thing done.
Shake up the place. Right now, we're gonna shake up the place. Welcome, Redrill. Stay a while. Rock and groove all night. Sunshine. Feeling good. Let the music deep into your soul. Let the rhythm take control. We're gonna shake up the place. Feel it, don't fight it. You shake up the place. You're gonna shake up the place. Right now, you're gonna shake up the place.
ain't nothing but a mistake. Tell me why I never wanna hear you say I want it that way. 8 stations down there. Yoo-hoo! Want it that way. Bonjour.
Travailler comment?
Très bien. Très bien. Of course I forgot or missed that there was another climb. So I went to the highest point, then we went through this grand desert where we had the aid station. Now we climbed up on the other side. Another steep climb. Yeah, up there's the sign. I don't even know what the call is called. I'll check in a second. I did change into a white long sleeve, which I drenched in a cold creek with water from the glacier, so this helps to cool me a little bit down. It's like 1 p.m. in the afternoon and it's scorching hot. So trying everything to avoid a heat stroke. The cap helps. A lot of water helps. And I hope this long sleeve as well. And now I'm actually gonna descend into, fuck, I don't even know anymore where I'm gonna descend to. Alright, what's the thingy called? Col de Louisby, sitting at 2,921 meters. I made it. Nice. Coming from Col de Fleury, crossing the Lac Léman desert where there was the aid station, and now bouncing down. And somewhere I should see Joanna. And fuck, looking at the camera I didn't even pay attention to the surrounding. Look at this. Fucking A. So pretty. I can't get enough of these vistas. It's so cool. So this was again and again the reward for all the climbing. Worth every sacrifice. Fucking A. Gotta love nature. Alright, let's go down.
Nobody can deny me that I'm blessed. I might be rough around the edges, maybe yes. I keep it happy and I do what make me happy, and nobody can deny me that I'm blessed. Self-preservation, self-elevation, these days deserve celebration. No hesitation, no reservation. Go for the big leagues, no relegation. Let's celebrate life, kick back and take 5, and give thanks to the source that create life. To see a sunset or see a sunrise, and see my son born with these same eyes. To see my son smile bright in every
First there was yet another Col du Permis. But now, for real, we are going down. So down there, that's already Lourtier, and this is where we're going now. It's 1,500 meters of elevation drop on just 6 kilometers. So this one's gonna be a motherfucker. But there's no way around it. We'll do it. Peace out.
See, my life is like a movie, and if I tell you all these things I don't see truly. See, my eyes don't
Just left the aid station. Had tons of drinks because I was feeling a little dehydrated after running in the sun the entire day without any water sources for the last, I don't know, 4 hours or so. Had some good food again. Raclette, cheese which they make at most aid stations, potatoes, ham, so that was pretty cool. Put sunscreen on, thinking that I'd be running in the sun again, but luckily there's already shade on this side of the mountain that I'm climbing now. And yeah, now I'm doing the only thing you can do to survive the next stages, listening to the man himself, David Goggins, on Joe Rogan, and gonna listen to his stories to make me feel better. So let's see if that works, but all in all, I'm happy. Still moving fairly okay, though it's not running anymore, it's more shuffling, but moving along. Back of the pack. But now again, a little bit more buffer to the cutoff. I think when I left Grand de Geants this morning it was 3 hours, now I have 5 or 6, so I did make up some time during the day. And now let's see how far I can run into the night. I do prefer the night these days because it's much cooler. But yeah, let's see. For now, still moving. Good morning, Thursday, day 5 of the race. Just finished the first, 300-400 meters of elevation gain. Did sleep a little bit at the last aid station. It was a hard night. I wanted to sleep earlier, but the other aid stations didn't have any chance to do so. So I had to push through. Got to the aid station by 3 a.m. Then slept for 2 hours, had some good food, and now ready for the next day. And people who are as obsessed as me with trail running and UTMB and all that might recognize the town I'm in right now. It's Lac, which is one of the aid stations or towns where there's an aid station at UTMB. And even apart from UTMB, just a pretty town. So nice view for the morning. Now we're gonna push through. It's like 22 kilometers to the next life base. In between there's Trion, another town with an aid station where Joanna's gonna meet me. Then probably she's gonna meet me again at the life base in Pinot. And I'm gonna push into the last 2 sections of this race. And I believe then it's officially less than 100k left, so slowly, very slowly, we're getting there.
This is rough, come on, alongside Jen, come on. Brighter days. Look at them. I carry my tattoo to the roots, yeah. I know where I am going, cause I know where we are coming from. Tell me who knows the truth, yeah. Everybody or nobody know where we are running. Ich komm zurück in mein Bezirk und weiß dann wieder, wohin es geht. So viel passiert, doch es bestimmt mein Weg. Sie schmieden Pläne, aber alles Fantasie und
Drink everything.
Nah.
I don't even know if I need anything from the car.
Radler.
Yes, Radler, that.
Elle était tellement concentrée. Ah ouais, c'est vrai ça.
Just left the last aid station of the section. So next stop is gonna be the life base in Finot. Luckily only 6-7 kilometers away, though with 800 meters of elevation gain, and just had McDonald's, had a double cheeseburger for I don't know how long, at least sober. I cannot remember when I had the last cheeseburger. It was awesome, and I have the feeling that this could be a go-to option going forward. Anyways, charging further to Finot, next life base. Finally get a shower again to feel somewhat like a decent human being, because by now I'm pretty gross. And yeah, see you over there. Left the 5th life base in Finot, so I did finish the longest section somewhere around 3 p.m. today. It was quite hot at that time, so I decided to take a nap for an hour. Had 2 meals, one before the nap, one after, and now we are on the last 2 sections, each roughly 50 kilometers, so 100 kilometers left, but only one major climb with 1200 meters, which I'll start right now, and after that it will be many climbs, but all of them smaller, in the area of like 500, 600, 700 meters of elevation gain. So then the big boys, they'll be done. So let's see, I'll try to press on through the night to use the cool temperatures, and then maybe sleep again tomorrow around noon. But yeah, that's the wish for now. Let's see how I feel later. Roughly 4 hours ahead of cutoff now due to the snap and everything, but I hope that this will set me up for success on this last 100k. See you later. Just made it to the top of Col de Finestral. The last bigger climb. Was greeted by some livestock up there, and now I'm making my way over to some sort of plateau, or down to a plateau, where I'm gonna spend some kilometers before having another 600 meter climb, all by myself in this environment. But I guess you cannot really see anything. But really cool, looking forward. Finally, the sun is coming out again. It's still fucking cold, but at least it's light out. This night was terrible. Sleep deprivation has finally caught up with me after 5 or 6 days, and couldn't have been a worse situation. So it was, as always, technical ascents and descents, but this time it was more like rock climbing. I was super sleepy, and I didn't want to do that rock climbing in that state, so I literally took 5-minute naps to be able to descend for 30 meters or so. Then I took a nap again to descend for a little bit, and that way it just took me forever. Also, the course will be, or seems to be, longer because there were some detours due to landslides last week, so I'm already having 317 kilometers on my watch. Maybe 5 of that is just from GPS not catching me properly in those steep sections, but the majority is just detours. So, since I've been threading the heat for the entire week, today I'm actually waiting for the heat to come because I'm still so fucking cold. 70 kilometers left. 20 to the next aid station, where I'll meet Rainer, where I maybe can have a decent nap. At this aid station they had chairs set up outside where you could sit, but it's like 10 degrees and humid, so sitting there is not really gonna do anything. Anyways, onwards and up. 10 kilometers to the next aid station and 500 meters of elevation again, so it is getting smoother, though the ascents and descents, even though they're not as much anymore, they still suck because they are still steep, but at least they're shorter now. Anyways, see you later. First clouds of the race. So after 5 days I see clouds, which is nice to actually run in the shade a little bit. As long as it doesn't rain, all of them should be fine. Last descent now of this section, then I'll be at the last life base, and then it's 50 kilometers until the finish line.
It's funny how things can change but still remain the same. Isn't life just a crazy game? Baby, here I go again. Into your eyes and then my heart remembers when I realized I've never gotten over you. I've never gotten over you. Every time I hear your name, every time I hear your name, and I realize
On the last stage, just left the last aid base, life space in Morgins, whatever. And now it's like 46 kilometers until the finish line. I think there is like 3 or 4 aid stations in between to refuel. Rainer is gonna meet me at the next one and then also run a little bit with me before meeting me again at the finish line. So yeah,
Now it's just about pushing through to the finish line, despite all the discomfort and the exhaustion, but we'll figure it out. We'll make it, even if it takes all day long or tomorrow, but we will make it.
How are the feels?
Okay, but it doesn't matter anyways, it's just 40 kilometers here. Eagles don't have a say anymore.
On fait revenir tout ça dans la grande marmite, arrosé avec un peu de vin, le petit jus des pollets et puis crème.
We are partners in crime now. Met each other on the last section of the Swiss Peaks 360, and now we are suffering together towards the finish line. Just had fantastic mushrooms, the typical race food, and now we're going up there somewhere.
Yeah, I don't remember. I am not a good in orientation, but it's nice. Yeah, it's very nice. But I think it's like that, and after we're going down.
So, how does it feel to finish for the 6th time?
Yeah.
Any different than the other ones?
Yes, because I know it's the last time. I think that's my decision.
Well, then I'm very happy that I can share this moment with you.
Yeah, me too. It's nice.
They're here! Oh my god! So great! You made it! These are the tears of joy, tears of pride. Amazing.
Ladies and gentlemen, applause for our 150 runners from the world. More than 40 nationalities.